There we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another disappointing post-match live stream. I believe this is our 11th, and we've still only won one. So we're getting used to this. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Irish Tommy. How you doing?
It's pretty much the same as last time. It just doesn't change. It's same old, same old. We have to come on our broadcast after a West Ham game, talking about a loss. So I guess we're comfortably numb.
Yeah, that's the best way to kind of put it. I mean, we're kind of used to. I mean, the meme that I love, I think you posted on Twitter after the Wolves match. It was our expectations were low, but holy f. I feel like that's just the constant mindset being a West Ham fan anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to even stay angry. It's like I say, you just kind of get numb to it, and the familiarity of kind of misery it kind of
Yeah,
just seeps into your bones,
yeah,
and you just become kind of resigned to it in the end. I suppose, look, I went into the Wolves game somewhat hopeful. Um, Not this one. I never went into this one with any optimism, really. I didn't feel like we would get anything from it. I think my prediction was a 3-0 win for Tottenham.
hey, damn near close.
Um, it was close, yeah. Again, I didn't think we would score, and we didn't. Um, it's like, this is the second game in a row since the Premier League resumed that we've played, and at no point have we had a single striker on the pitch at any time, and we haven't scored any goals. I don't know. I feel like there's a connection.
Yeah, maybe, and I get obviously that Alaire's injured, but the fact of the matter is that you have Albion Ajeti and Zande Silva. Now we're apparently talking about selling Ajeti, and he's never been given a chance. He just must be piss poor on the training pitch because there's no other conceivable reason for him not to even get a chance.
Yeah, and I would throw in Yarmolenko, even though Moyes has played him when he has played him out on the right wing, but he's a forward. He plays up front for Ukraine, and he scores goals for Ukraine.
Normally,
Um, so there were options on the bench. You could have put Silva, Ajeti, or Yarmolenko, or any two of those three up top at any point
yeah,
in
five.
the Wolves game and the game today. But uh, yeah, 5 substitutions. He again doesn't use them. Um, he's just atrocious.
I'm
Moyes is taking us down unless unless Villa are equally bad as us and can't win any games either.
well,
That's all that's keeping us out of the relegation zone at this point.
yeah, and Bowen can even go up front too.
Yeah.
But in the last week, we've had now our captain Mark Noble say that we're going to have bad results because of our first few matches back. We have our manager saying that it's going to go down to the last match of the season. This team is basically now has a mindset of, oh, we're already going down, it's inevitable. So why the hell are we still playing that? What's the point of this season?
Yeah, when the messaging coming from your manager and your captain is negative, that's going to affect the mindset of the players. And you can see, that there's absolutely no confidence in the team. I don't think they believed they could get anything out of the Wolves game or this one. Um, and obviously that's a very bad place for your team to be in. Um, and look, we all know we're going to be in this right to the final day. Um, we're not pulling upwards out of danger at all. It's going to come down to ourselves and Villa. I think Bournemouth are shocking as well, and they've got a terrible run in. So I do think Bournemouth will finish second from bottom. So it'll be up to ourselves and Villa.
Yeah.
You'd almost think, ourselves and Villa are literally fighting out, trying to get relegated. It's like
Yeah.
trying to see who can be worse. It's like relegation
It might be
was like
more entertaining
promotion.
watching these matches, man. It might be entertaining to see the competition of who can be worse, because this is just getting old at this point. Let's talk about it a little bit. I thought the first half. I mean, one thing I've kind of decided, I realized in this game especially, is that I don't think I will ever see a West Ham match where we control the ball more than our opponent, first of all. And second of all, I thought we played somewhat well in the first half, definitely better, night and day difference than against Wolves, but I mean, it just wasn't sustainable given Spurs quality.
Yeah, our first half was okay. Definitely better than the Wolves game. We definitely had improved from the Wolves game. But it has to be said, Tottenham were quite poor
Yeah.
for most of the first half. I would say, for the first 35 minutes, Tottenham were very average themselves. Created some chances they didn't take, half chances, but we weren't under any major pressure. And we were getting on the ball, and we looked a bit livelier than we did against Wolves, but we weren't able to really threaten Lloris very much at all.
No.
He had a couple of routine saves to make. That was about all. But then going into the final 10 minutes of that first half, Tottenham really started to turn the screw.
Yeah.
They upped it suddenly, and then you thought, oh Christ, here we go. And they could have scored on a couple of occasions, before the break. And I remember thinking, those last 10 minutes, just hold out, because they were really putting us under pressure at that point. I said, just try and get in at 0-0, and go from there. But the second half, I thought it was like there was almost two different games. I thought the first half was a bit cagier, not too many chances created, but then the second half was far more open. And I think as soon as the game really opened up, I thought, oh, we're going to be in trouble now, because that does not suit us. Against a good side like Tottenham, who are good going forward and are good at finishing. Kane scored inevitably once it opened up. So I didn't like that at all. I thought that was a mistake on our part to allow that game to really open up. Going toe to toe with Tottenham was not going to end well for us, and that's exactly how it proved.
Yeah.
And again, Moyes found wanting when it came to substitutions. Brings on probably two of our kind of least formed players all season, Anderson and Lanzini, who, not surprisingly, did nothing for us. They were never going to turn the game and swing it our way.
I get where he could have been coming from, but like you said, they're not in form. If you're wanting to bring on players with some attacking prowess, again, you have Wilshere on the bench, you have Ajeti, you have Zonde Silva, you have Yarmolenko, you have so many more options. Anderson was rightfully dropped for a reason. He shouldn't have been given that run out, and then he literally just stood around for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it just has to be criticized for his decision making. Like you say, the options that were on the bench, we had some good options on the bench, the players that could have maybe done something, and they were all the ones that were left on the bench. He brings in the two players really that have brought nothing to the team all season. Like you say, you could have. He could have brought on Yarmolenko, probably could have brought on Ajeti, he could have brought Wilshere on to try and do something. Could have moved, I mean, Antonio played the whole game. I mean, you could see he was absolutely gassed, and I just don't understand it. It's so worrying because, we are on the brink. We're not picking up points. And it seems to me it doesn't matter who we're going to play. If you're not going to play forwards up top, Antonio's not a forward. Look, the guy will run and run and run, and he'll put himself about, and he will cause some problems for our opponents. but he's not going to score us goals. He just isn't. And I mean, the thing you notice as well is that I tweeted that we just needed one of those chances to fall to Bowen. The chances were real chances that we had, which weren't many.
All's chance. I mean that was
Yeah,
clear.
if that falls to Bowen, we score. End of story. So, and it showed there was one half chance that Bowen got. It wasn't an easy finish because it was a tight angle. There wasn't much to aim at, but he tried to squeeze a shot in at the near post, and you could just see how well he struck it. Unfortunately, he clipped the post and it went wide, but that's why you need finishers up front. And if we're not going to play finishers up front, we're not going to score goals. And if we're not scoring goals, then we're bang in trouble. We're not winning games. And Moyes, I don't know why he can't understand it. I mean, this is basic stuff. This is straightforward stuff. You put finishers up front. Yarmolenko's a much better finisher than Antonio, for example. What would have been wrong? Jetty, natural forward, much better finisher than Antonio. What would have been wrong? Bring one of them in. Give him 30 minutes. Get Antonio out of there because he gets gassed after an hour anyway.
Yeah.
Bring on Jetty or Yarmolenko. Try and get someone on there who might score as a goal.
Yeah. The other thing I'm thinking with regards to Antonio is the guy can never stay healthy. So I don't know the full injury report. I know that I saw X say that Snodgrass now might be out the rest of the season. I don't know how long Aller's out. If he's out for a good bit, Antonio doesn't stay fit for more than a few matches, and he's coming to the end of that kind of expiration period. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do when he goes down? Because it's inevitable that he does. Are we finally going to realize, oh, maybe we need to put in our actual strikers, or are we just going to throw in someone like Anderson up top and just hope for the best?
Yeah, well, he played Anderson up there against Wolves, so I think we've got 8 days for our next game at home to Chelsea. So, from what I'm hearing, Haller should be available for that game. So I don't think it will come down to that, but so I do think we'll have Haller for that, and presumably he'll start.
I like Travis's suggestion of David Martin at striker. Can't go wrong.
Well, he's probably ahead of Ajeti and Silva in the pecking order.
He probably is at this point. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's just a bizarre one.
Two managers as well. Pellegrini didn't give him a chance either.
No, and he'll probably be sold on without ever having been given a chance. I mean, I would have had no problem starting Ajeti today. None. He's a forward. Have you seen him play for Switzerland? He looks a good forward. He does score goals for Switzerland. He looks a good player for them. And what's it going to take? I mean, at this point, you have to say there's nothing that could happen that other than maybe a spate of injuries to attacking players that would make Moyes play a striker outside of Haller when he's got them available. So it's shocking stuff, really. Hard to believe, and it very, very well may cost us our Premier League status.
Yeah.
Because right now, I do think actually Villa probably are a better side than us. And I think Villa will pick up some points. And Brighton picked up a point again away to Leicester today. So Brighton are there's 4 points now. They're disappearing into the sunset. So I think everything we're looking at now is over our shoulders.
Yeah, and something that Ben Davis says here too. This is something that we've been screaming about all season, whether it be Pellegrini and now David Moyes as well. We cannot play well with just one up top, whether it's a striker or if it's Antonio. We have to have the two up top. When we play two up top, we do well, or at least better than what we've seen. It doesn't make sense to me why we just keep hitting our head against a brick wall and hoping for something to change.
because Moyes thinks we're playing well. I guarantee he said it after the Wolves game. He thought we
Yeah,
played well in that game,
you're
and
right
he
on
just said, "Oh, Traore came on and he changed the game." But other than that, he said, "I thought we did very well." He'll say the same thing after this game. He'll come out and he'll say, I thought we played very well tonight against Tottenham." You know, um, guarantee you, he doesn't understand. He's completely blind to the problems that we have and to how bad we are. And I don't think. I mean, why would he change now? I don't see why he would. I mean, even if he were to put Bowen up top with someone, even if it had to be Antonio, at least we've got someone up there who's a natural finisher. We've got options for the right wing. You can move Antonio out there, put Bowen up top with someone. You can play Yarmolenko out there. There's options for the right wing, and we had a single natural finisher on the pitch tonight, and that was Bowen. He got one half chance very late in the game, and he struck it really well. Really technically struck it beautifully. He was unlucky, that it just clipped the post and went wide. But even just moved Bowen into the centre, them chances that we had to score, when Antonio was put through, or when Fornals dragged the shot wide. There's a really good chance. Definitely the Fornals chance. Bowen buries that, no question. The Antonio effort, I'll guarantee you, Bowen will get that on target at least. He'll work the keeper. But as long as Moyes persists in playing without strikers and having these chances fall to who are not natural finishers, it's going to be very difficult to pick up 3 points against any team.
Yeah, especially with the.
And that's just one of our. Yeah, and that's just one of our problems.
Yeah,
we can move back the pitch in a minute.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I mean, we've already got Noble saying we have tough run of games, so we're going to have some bad results, and Moyes saying it's going to come down to us versus Villa, the last match of the season. Going into this restart before the Wolves match, I was fairly confident staying up. Now I'm fairly confident we're going down, because I mean
look, I'm not even convinced it'll come down to us and Villa on the final day. We might already be gone.
Yeah,
we mightn't last that long.
I think the only reason we're outside of the relegation zone right now is because we have more goals scored than Watford. Like, we're level on goal difference, but we've scored more total goals than them. So I mean, we're hanging on literally by the skin on our teeth right now.
Well, yeah, but that goal difference is going to disappear quickly. I mean, we've played 2 games. We're -4.
Yeah,
we're -4 already, and now we play Chelsea next week in 8 days. So,
and
we could get rinsed in that game.
We're only up by a single goal in terms of goals for. So I mean, we might as well be in the relegation zone now.
Yeah, we will be very soon. I mean, I think I don't know what Villa's next game is, what their next couple of fixtures are, but obviously we've got Chelsea. We're going to lose that game.
They play Newcastle.
Depending on what
Villa's
got Newcastle.
Yeah, in Newcastle.
Where? All right, there's a possibility for Villa to win that game, even get a point. No, they mightn't. I don't know, but.
And that's all I'm seeing right now. Watford faced Burnley. So yet again, here we are after another match having to rely on other teams.
Yeah, I think Watford are going to beat Burnley. Actually, this is getting desperate now, and I have no faith in Moyes. I don't think anyone does. I think only David Moyes has faith in Moyes. You have to wonder, what do Sullivan and Gould think of all this? They're watching this. 2 defeats, 2-0 on both occasions.
Obviously, they
don't look good.
I mean, for God's sakes, David Moyes has 8 points from a total possible 36. They don't. Any other manager would have been sacked by now, but they don't seem to care.
No, you just wonder, is it ego or what is it? Because they brought him back in, when they sacked Pellegrini for his second term. Um, and if he brings us down, it's real egg on their face, and it would possibly be even more so if they had to sack him now. After only was it 18 games or something. So
12.
I think they're 12 games. Sorry. So I think they're just crossing their fingers and desperately hoping that we can scrape through. But like I said to you after the Wolves game, it would only be a stay of execution.
Yeah.
If you give David Moyes a full season, he he will absolutely bring us down.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah, look, I think I'm preparing my heart, and I think a lot of our fans are preparing our hearts now for Championship football.
Yeah. And here we were sitting in September, tied for fourth place, looking at potentially going top three, being talked about potentially being in top six, and the very high chance of us slipping into the championship now.
Yeah, we were all very hopeful at the start of the season, but it's just been an unmitigated disaster.
So
just for
I do want to kind of get your opinion on the rest of the team. We've obviously kind of talked extensively at this point about our forward situation. What do you think about the rest of the team?
I thought Bowen was fantastic. I have to say, just to say, I have something positive to go on. Jared Bowen was, I would say, kind of easily our best player in attack. Everything good that we did seemed to go through him. And he's a really good player, Bowen. He looked head and shoulders above almost anyone else we had on the pitch. I thought Rice was Declan Rice. I thought he played really well.
Yes.
Did what he could, but obviously, what he's working with isn't great. And he can't put out every fire himself. But Declan Rice was really good again. I thought Souček did okay. He wasn't bad. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. I don't really blame him for the own goal. I think it was bad luck, really, more than anything. He was in position. I think the ball took a little nick off the head of. I'm not sure if it was it Sanchez? Maybe got the little nick on it, possibly Bergwijn. I couldn't see exactly who it came off of, but one of them got just a slight little touch on the ball, and it just changed the trajectory of the ball a little bit, and just hit him on the inside of his right leg and squirmed into the net. So it was bad luck, but it happens. But I thought Souček was decent today. Fornals isn't a forward, David.
Also he's not a left back as well, like we were using him as.
Yeah, look, he's not a forward. I like Fornals. He's got a lot about him. He has a lot of qualities. Forward isn't one of them. It's not natural for him. He doesn't really know what he's doing up there. He's a midfielder. And he worked very, very hard, Fornals, and he always will. He's a very honest player. But you could see with that chance he got, he's just not a forward. It's not his natural position. He's uncomfortable there. But he worked very hard, and I like him as a player. Really great attitude, and he plays for the team. He really does. But he needs to be in midfield. If we're going to play him, it has to be in midfield. Again, it was another just really poor decision from Moyes to play him up there. So not surprising he came off. He needs to be central, as you saw there. I agree. Was it Smokey said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to play centrally. Even if it's a centrally, like I said, like a cam roll advanced central, he can do that. But as a forward, no, he's got no clue what he's doing up there, and he can't finish. So, but I thought he was okay. Noble, I think the game passed him by.
Yeah,
he was barely noticeable. You wouldn't really know he was on the pitch, which doesn't surprise me because at his age, having played against Wolves and then a quick turnaround to play again against Tottenham. I thought that was another mistake from Moyes, so we can add that to the list.
you just look Do you want me to pull up my notes app and we can just start our own list of grievances right now? Because we can go at this all night.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one. As well, I would have started Wilshere.
Yeah.
Wilshere is absolutely no question one of the most talented players we've got. He's up there with the very best players we have got. And there's no reason he can't play. He's ready to go. He's fit. He's as fit as anyone else in the squad at this point. None of them were particularly match fit starting out. So, and it's another game where we never even saw Wilshere off the bench. We've gone behind, and he's the kind of player that can unlock a defense. I spoke about this after the Wolves game, especially in a game that had become so open, where you can get Wilshere on the ball with some time and with some space, where he can get turned and actually get going forward with the ball at his feet. And he could have caused some real panic for that Tottenham backline, which isn't a great backline. They've got Sanchez and Dyer back there. If you can't get at Sanchez and Dyer, they're not a great centre-back pairing by any means.
No.
So Wilshere could have done some damage after that game had really opened up. But again, I don't think it even crossed Moyes' mind. He decides, again, let's bring on two players who've been completely ineffectual all season.
Yeah.
Cresswell struggled. Cresswell got a bit rinsed by Aurier, let's be honest. I think Cresswell now, even though he's a good, honest pro as well, and he's been with us a long time, and he's not the kind of player I'm going to shit on, because I don't have any bad words to say about Cresswell. Been a very good servant, but I think he's past his sell-by date. I think we've got to get Cresswell out of there. I'd start looking at Johnson now. For now, even though Johnson's a natural right back, I'd like to see Johnson come in. A left back now. He played really well there in his debut against Man City, which was a big ask for him, but he didn't look uncomfortable over on the left. So I think we've got to start giving him a run, because I think Cresswell is just over the hill now.
Yeah. Cresswell, he is over the hill, I think, but he still gives it. He gives it all. I mean, he didn't play terribly today. I will give him that. What did you think of, or how did you think of Balbuena coming back in for right, or to push Rice back into the midfield?
I thought him and Diop were both a bit shaky. They dealt with the simple stuff, but you have to expect them to deal with the simple stuff. But you see, the thing with that is, if you ask any coach at any level, some of the real no-nos as a manager in football, one of them is continually switching up and swapping out your centre-back pairing. It's just too important of a pairing. It's hugely important that your centre-backs understand each other and have a kind of symmetry, a symbiotic kind of relationship. Moyes is just swapping centre-backs in and out all over the place. If you're doing that, you're going to have mistakes happen. You're not going to you're going to concede goals. If you're swapping in and out. He started Rice, against Wolves. He started Balbuena there today. Ogbonna will probably be ready to play against Chelsea. So that'll be 3 games, 3 different pairings. And you're asking for trouble if you're swapping centre backs in and out every game. He should have started Balbuena against Wolves and given him the 90 minutes, and started him again tonight and given him 90 minutes. And just leave them there. You can't just keep swapping centre backs in and out. You're asking for trouble. And that's what we saw. The reason Tottenham didn't score more was just some sloppy finishing. Harry Kane had some misses that were unlike him, really. I suppose because of the break and his injury. He's not back to his best yet, Harry Kane. Son as well. He was out injured. Obviously, a big layoff. He's not quite at it yet either. If that had been Kane and Son, Mora as well, at their best, we could have conceded 5 or 6, no problem today. It was just their rustiness really that kind of spared our blushes, because they did create numerous chances to score. Luckily, they only took 1 really, because Souček got the other one. But on another day, it could have been far more embarrassing. So we were pretty shaky at the back. Frederick's the same. Fredericks is a limited player. Again, nothing against him personally. He's a trier. There's nothing wrong with his attitude. But he's just talent-wise, he's just limited. And that back line is becoming a little bit of a worry.
Yeah.
Because it seems, if Ogbonna's out, it seems to really affect us back there in a big way. So we need him back for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So moving forward, where do we go from here? Obviously, we have Chelsea next Wednesday.
Championship.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, we're going to the championship. Like I said, barring Villa are as bad as us and just can't get a win and can't leapfrog us. Other than that, we're going down. And I know there's going to be people on social media, West Ham fans, saying, look, it's Wolves, Tottenham, Chelsea, and it eases off after that and we'll get some wins. The way we are right now, we're not beating anybody. We're not playing any strikers. We're scoring no goals, swapping centre-backs in and out, poor substitutions. And, it's just a recipe for disaster. So, and I'm not normally actually a doom and gloom merchant.
No,
it sounds like it because we're doing this show because every time we come on, we've fucking lost again and we haven't scored and it's been poor and Moyes has been clueless again. And it sounds like I'm this doom merchant where everything is terrible. But, what can you say? I'm kind of put in this position, as are you, after every damn game, because what we're watching is horrible, and it's hard to find positives.
Yeah, it really is.
We'd love to be coming on here with a smile on our face, saying about how well the team played and how someone scored a great goal and what a pass that was, and how good is this guy? But what opportunity do we get to do that, really?
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I think you said it best. I think the only place to go from here is down. I mean, the old saying is there's nowhere to go but up, but I just don't see us turning that corner and actually getting some results. Now, granted, obviously we don't have the one striker we play, even if fit or available. So I mean that could change something, but I don't think it's enough to save our season for sure.
Yeah. Plus, we're talking about Hilaire's missed 2 games now, so he's behind the ball. He's behind the 8 ball now, right? So he has to get up to match sharpness and match fitness, and that's probably going to take him a couple of games. So that's another 2 games where we're not firing up front. Maybe we need to really cross our fingers when he comes back that he can hit the ground running. Hopefully, he plays the Chelsea game. We'll still lose it, but at least it's a game that he's played, to try and get some sharpness back. After that, as I say, fixtures on paper not as tough, but
yeah.
At the moment, like who do we beat? Who do we beat right now?
In all reality, after the Chelsea match, we're away to Newcastle, and then the final 5 games of the season are home to Burnley, which that should be winnable. Away to Norwich should be winnable. Home to Watford should be. Then we go to Man United, which we know how that one's probably going to go. And then final match of the season, home to Villa. So, I mean, there's winnable games on paper, like you said, but it's just a matter.
But here's the thing.
Can we commit?
I'm going to say this right now. We're going to lose at St. James's Park. We're going to get beaten by Newcastle up there. We do not have a good record up there. We're going to get beaten by them. We're going to get beaten at Old Trafford. Yeah. Right? So now what's left? We've got Norwich away. No guarantee we go to Norwich and win.
After Newcastle, and you take away United, and it's our fellow relegation candidates.
Yeah. And as we know, its final game is home to Villa. It might be over by then for us.
Yeah.
So there's no guarantee we go to playing the way we're playing. There's no guarantee we go to Carrow Road and win the game.
No.
That could be a 0-0 or 1-1. Could be 1 point. that's not enough.
No.
You know, we've got to win games. There's people saying, look, if we can get 3 wins, if we look what's left, we're not. It's not going to be Chelsea. I don't believe it's going to be Newcastle away. It's not going to be at Old Trafford.
I mean, for God's sakes, all we know that we could come out. This is West Ham after all. We could be projecting or predicting 5-0 losses, and we come out and batter Chelsea 6-0. And that's the thing that it just is tiring with this club is that at times is that you don't know. Like, there's about 3 different teams that show up. There's the we don't care. There's the all right, let's actually give it a try, and we're going to kick your ass. And you never know team is going to show up.
Yeah, but the thing with us is there's a flip side to that coin. You know, we can go into games thinking, yeah, I got a great chance here, and then we fucking stink the place out and lose 3-0. So, you know, but at the moment, no, that's kind of traditionally been West Ham, but I don't think that's us anymore. Not under Moyes. I don't think we're that team anymore.
Do you think
any chance to beat Chelsea or United or Tottenham or Wolves or anyone like that? I think we've got no chance.
Is there any? Do you think there's any chance of us sacking Moyes in all reality?
No, I think we're too far down the road. I'd love it to. I'd love them to sack him. But I don't think they're going to sack him because we played Wolves, Tottenham, and Chelsea. Because he has his excuses already made, right? Noble's already made the excuses. Well, look, you know, these are 3 very good teams, but after that, it eases up, and then we'll be able to pick up the points. Sullivan and Gold probably buy into that. They probably think, okay, we'll get these 3 games out the way, and then, you know, hopefully we'll pick up our points then in the games after that. But we're going to lose at home to Chelsea.
Yep.
And what happens when we go to St. James's Park and lose that? That's 4 games, 4 losses. Now we're starting to run out of games, and people are saying we need 3 wins.
Yeah, and we had said
do we look like a team that has 3 wins out of 5 in them, or whatever it is? 3 wins out of 5. You know, I don't think so.
Sorry, say this again.
I'm saying if we lose to Chelsea, which I'm sure we will, and we go up to St. James's Park and lose, which I actually think we will, and people are saying, you know, we need 3 wins and we'll be okay. What would be left? 5 games or something? Do we look like a team that can win 3 out of 5?
Probably not. I can't. I have no clue anymore. I came into this restart hopeful and optimistic. I thought we'd be able to get a result against Wolves. After the showing that I saw, I don't have any faith or confidence in this team right now. Unless they come out and batter Chelsea, I don't think I'll retain any. I don't think I'll have any confidence.
Well, we've got no chance against Chelsea. They're way too good for us. Look, I think literally our only hope, we all just get on our knees and pray that Villa have a horrible end to the season.
Yeah.
I think that's all we've got left, because I don't see where these 3 wins are coming from.
I don't either. And yet again, here we are in dire straits yet for another season.
And I'll tell you what as well, just Chris, before we finish up, I'll tell you what, because we have to talk about Golden Sullivan and all of this, because all of those promises about what this move to the Olympic Stadium was going to do for us. And we've been criticizing them for a long time since we made the move, because it's done nothing for us. And they've been making their excuses, right? The excuse after excuse after excuse, and have been able to say, it'll come good, it'll come good. I'll tell you what, if we get relegated to the Championship is this our 4th season at the Olympic Stadium? Our first season was 17, 18?
Our first would have been 16, 17.
16, 17. So with 4 seasons we'll have played at the London Stadium. If we get relegated 4 seasons after moving, they have no excuses left. Absolutely none. They can no longer make excuses about anything.
They don't have.
They said
they've lost it, all of them.
No, they still think they do.
Well, yeah.
They still think they can say, look, it'll come good. It'll come good. We'll get there. Just be patient. Relegation means they can't say shit to us anymore. Whenever someone slates them for their running of the club, what are they going to say if we're in the fucking championship 4 years after a move that they said would transform us and catapult us
Well,
into potentially Champions League team?
yeah, they said that we'd be playing Champions League inside the Olympic Stadium within 5 years. We're going to be relegated
Yeah,
before we even sniff Europa League.
yeah. They'll have to eat all those L's. They'll have to accept that what they've done has been a complete and abject failure.
Oh, I mean,
There will be no excuse left. What do you say when you're playing championship? You know, Karen Brady, world-class stadium with world-class players. Golden Sullivan got on about Champions League 5 years. We're playing championship in our 5th season since the move.
And then
it's over for them.
And then to add to that too, I mean, think about the team that, I mean, or the players that would leave us. I mean, Felipe Anderson, as much as we hate him, like obviously he's gone. Sebastian Aller, gone. Bowen, probably gone. Rice, gone. Diop, gone. We'd have to rebuild completely. We would be down in championship for several seasons.
Yeah, it's a reset button. Like you say, we'll lose a hell of a lot of players. You know, you can't afford to pay some of the wages either. You're going to have to cut the wage rate, despite the fact everyone gets 50% wage cut. That still won't be enough if you're in championship. And the more seasons, like you can get away with it for 1 or 2 seasons down the championship because of parachute payments and stuff. But if you spend any length of time down there, you know, you're now picking low fruit when you're looking for players. You're buying much cheaper players, you're paying less wages, they're less talented, and any real talent that you had in the side that's Premier League quality is gone. So you're trying to get back up with essentially a team of championship players. Hopefully they can get you promoted some year. But even then, you're looking at, okay, now we have to stay up with these championship players. And that's not easy. So it's a reset button. It's just a complete rebuild.
It's a massive reset button.
Yeah, and it's scary stuff when you think about it.
I mean, yeah, we're teetering on the edge right now. But if we fall down, it'll be like I said, it'll be several years. I just don't.
Yeah, certainly if they keep Moyes ain't bringing us back up. No chance.
Even if regardless, even if they bring in another manager, I think we're down there for several seasons. I mean, maybe we make it back up to the Premier League after 1 season, but then we have to reinvest again. And unless we have, it won't happen.
Yeah, we would have a chance to come back up in the first couple of seasons if we got rid of Moyes and got in, you know, a good manager who did a good job. Because of the parachute payments, we wouldn't have to completely decimate the squad in the first 1 or 2 seasons because of the parachute payments. You know, we could hold on to a number of them and still have probably the best squad in the championship. But we would have to have a manager who knows what he's doing, and he would have to get us up very, very quickly. But because after that, then we start to get into trouble where it gets more and more difficult to get back up. We start falling down into the pack with the other kind of run-of-the-mill championship teams. Our squad will be getting kind of progressively less talented. So, yeah, scary times.
Really quickly, we're going to have to wrap up here in just 1 second. But I did just see a tweet that came across my phone. I did not. I don't want to make it give me hope, but we don't play for another 8 days. Chelsea has to play 3 matches in the next 6. So, I mean, there is a hope, but there's always hope going into every match. So I'm not gonna let it make me think that we're gonna win now, because I doubt we will. But gives us at least a fighting chance.
Chelsea have a deep enough squad to handle it.
Yeah,
They can rest players. They can make 5 subs in a game. Um, it's it's a thin hope, I'm afraid. I mean, look, the team they put out against us will be much more talented than the team we put out. As simple
yeah,
as that, you know.
that's very cool.
So unless they have, you know, an absolute stinker or something,
Yeah,
um, we'd need them to be just have a really really bad day at the office,
yeah,
and even then, we mightn't win it. We might get like a 1-1, even if they're really poor, you know. So we don't score goals. We can't
oh,
finish. We've got no strikers on the pitch.
yeah. Well, listen, mate, I want to thank you for joining me as always. We will be back here as long as you're available, of course, after the Chelsea.
Yeah, we get mercifully we get an 8-day break from this.
Yeah, yeah. But if you're able to join me, we will be back for the Chelsea match. Um, hoping for something different, expecting the same as always. But until then, come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.